Hi, this is John Robertson with another report from my office. It's been an interesting week, and unusually for us in Parliament it's been a good week. For me personally, it started off in Broomhill Primary School. Andy Warhol once said that everybody has their 15 minutes of fame. I think I had that with the Primary 5 class. I was asked to go along and do a book reading. They had a book week in the school, and it was about the book that you had found to have the most effect on you when you were young. And my book was the famous 5 on Treasure Island, which was one of the first books that Enid Blyton had written on the famous 5. So I read it with the kids, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. Not quite sure who enjoyed it the most, whether the children enjoyed it or I did, but it was a great event, and I was pleased to do it. In Parliament, I've asked a series of questions this week on various things, on health, on the NHS and on waiting lists. I don't know if people know this, but in Scotland the waiting lists are twice as long as they are in England, and yet we spend almost double the money per head in population on health, and there's something just not quite right there. So I think it's important that we do raise these questions. I can't raise them in Scottish Parliament, but I can raise them in the UK Parliament, and I've done so. The other question asked was about Nigeria and the projects that DFID do, and also how they can get best practice into making sure that the money that DFID does give out to countries who need it is spent wisely, and we get a return for that money. There's been some excellent projects done in Nigeria, and I was using them as an example of best practice. Other than that, I was in Tuesday night, I was speaking in Clyde University on nuclear power and why it's important. Those of you who know me know that I feel very strongly about the investment in Scotland that we will be missing if we don't build new power stations and nuclear power stations, and also the amount of money that will be brought into the infrastructure of the areas in question. But the best thing about the whole debate was the fact that there was a balance on the panel, and that while I had one view, somebody else had another view, and that people were listening to two views and they can make their own mind up. I think that kind of argument, that kind of balance is the most important way of taking messages out to people and let them make the decision whether something like nuclear is important or not important. So that was a good event for me. The week, of course, is finished in today's announcement that the post office card accounts have been retained by the post office, and therefore a lot of our post offices that would have been under threat even after the present closures will now hopefully be now safe. And the postmaster who came to see me last week will be very pleased, and they've made the decision relatively early. They didn't have to make the decision to something like 2010, but that's put that to bed, and the post office can go on and trying to develop the post office card accounts and to give a better service to the customers. That's really all I want to say to you. I'm sorry about my throat, it's a bit froggy. I've got a cold this week, but we soldier on, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Thanks very much.